miracles. And we'll also be using our supernatural powers to weigh in the most famous miracle of all. Can we get through this show? No, just kidding. We're actually wondering, did Jesus really rise from the dead? Or rise from the dead? Coming up on Leading Out Loud.
There are so many people that are disconnected from their internal guidance. My mission is to change that.
I don't just talk stuff and repeat stuff. I'm living this stuff.
I'm your Carol Master and Bad Vibe Blaster.
And you can thank me for covering your astro.
Leading out loud. Leading out loud. Leading out loud.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Leading Out Loud, LOL, where we aim to be your favorite shift show on the earth. Joining me tonight is my Motley mystical crew. Please welcome, representing the angels in heaven, angel communicator Devon Duerr. Calling in the powers of tarot and the ancient occult, tarot master Chris Reck. Speaking for and to the dead, psychic medium Scott Cruz. And giving voice to astrology and the planets, I am Sensei Christopher Witecki, the Sensei to Serious Joy. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here tonight. And I will say tonight we have a special sponsor. Our sponsor tonight is Chi Organics. We'll be telling you about that in a little bit. But first, if you are coming to us live and streaming on our channels, we're on our YouTube channel, LOL, Leading Out Loud. We're also on all of our individual channels. This is a super network. We have a super chat going. So if you're in the chat room, tell us where you're chatting from. We're real curious and what your astrology sign is. We're even more curious about that. And if you have any feedback at all, please put it in the comments because we come back and we farm all this for the data. The team and I are super excited about this week's show. We're going to be talking about miracles, the real thing. And we're going to discuss how they happen, when they happen, and we're going to share stories of miracles we have experienced. So this is a very exciting topic. But first, we've got to do the Psychic Surf Report. Y'all, this week's energy, in fact, today has been a freaking shift show in itself. We have Jupiter in Gemini. We have the sun in Gemini. We got a full moon in Capricorn on Friday, which I believe is ultimately going to cause a minor trigger. Now, one thing is happening, the big picture here is with all the planets, with Saturn in Pisces, with Neptune at the high degrees of Pisces, it's calling in a new spiritual timeline, a new spiritual story. That's the spiritual timeline. But with the sun in Gemini wrapping up here in the next couple of days, we are now putting the finishing touches on what I call our new thoughtware, which is like our intellectual operating system. So we're all basically been out of our mind. We have not been on our right mind because we're basically replacing the Gemini intersections of all of our neurons and re-uploading a new approach to life altogether. And the problem is, and I'd like to know from each of you, people are breaking down everywhere is what's happening because the people in my clients in my life, a lot of them didn't do their work. And so as God is changing the channel to a new timeline, nobody in my network has been prepared. I mean, the people who watch me on Serious Joy for sure, but I'm talking my family, I'm talking people at the grocery store, I'm hearing it everywhere. How about you, Devon? What are you picking up?
Well, the angels were talking exactly what you were talking about, where there's a need for a lot of us to stand our ground. Maybe some of us have been pretending there wasn't a problem or that it wasn't as bad as it was. And that's the energy of this week as we go through, that we're feeling challenged to do what we know is right. So the angels want you to know you can gain so much insight from quiet time alone, especially around this full moon on Friday. And also they want to commend you for where you've looked to give forgiveness to yourself or others, because they see the way we've been doing that, but that is also revealing where we now need to face these issues. Things are going to start moving forward very quickly. And by the time that we get to the end of this week, we're going to realize we have to make a decision. We may have to revise some of our plans, and we may have to really stand in our courage. And then when we do that, when we take our power back by making this decision, we will see that delays are over, new opportunities are appearing. So I have a key word for this week. It's engagement. And the pocket affirmation I have for you, I'd like to invite you to put in the live comment chat here or after in the comments below this video. I easily engage with divine guidance. That will help us with engagement. And that means engaging with facing an issue, engaging with new relationships, and really taking your power back. What about you, Scott? What are you getting?
I'm getting IEWDG is what I'm getting.
IEWDG.
IEWDG. It sounds like a network, doesn't it?
I love it.
Coming soon.
It was like a bad Tony Robbins special.
Right. It's another network. I've been saying this now for a couple of months, at least on my show. I've been preparing my clients for this massive splitting of, of not so much of conscious, but of ourselves, and seeing the shadow version of ourselves becoming very evident and obvious. And so, people been asking me, I'm like, I feel cool. I'm just watching everybody around me crumble right now because I've seen it coming, but I have to, so I can prepare my clients for this. And I see a lot of my clients making great breakthroughs. I'm seeing friends of mine, and like the light bulb is actually starting to go off too right now. So, because they've been seeing that and witnessing that too, and love this splitting event. And so it really is important right now to identify that duality and that splitting, because if you don't, it's going to intensify in the negative. So the things that you're not addressing is going to really intensify, especially by the full moon on Friday. If you're not seeing it, you're going to see it. It's going to be very clear for you. So it's very important to understand these different aspects of the self. This way we can put it in proper balance. The key here is putting it into balance, not to dismiss it, not to fight it, not to be all positive 100% of the time, but to bring it in proper balance. And I think at that point, we're going to feel more in control and more reflective of what's going on in our lives.
It's been, I just want to concur to everything that you just said there. It's been intense.
Yeah. Chris, what did the card say?
Yeah, I think the king is dead, right? So the king is dead on the Death Rider, over the king on the death card, and I think we have to embrace like new excitement. The child is the only person that isn't.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, on the Death Rider, he's the only one that's not scared. So I think that we have to be excited by new beginnings and starting new things, and also letting go of things that have been established. Because I've been talking about this forever. New establishments. Ten of Pentacles is the card of establishment, and also kind of like building and leaving a legacy. So I think that combines so much, like thinking bigger, right? I think I tell everyone that we should be dreaming big, Neptune and Pisces, like the big crazy ass dream, right? And trying to accomplish that with the Ten of Pentacles, because Ten of Pentacles is like really having it all. And I think it's something that we should all be working towards. I even said this today, that book, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. He says, like, if everything went 110% according to plan, what would that look like? And I think that is what people should be focusing on, is like, what if everything did work out, even when something is dying, right?
And that's the realization. That's the mind blow for me, is that I've come to the realization that it's all going to work out. Like, I woke up from the dream this last 2 weeks.
But it is working out. It is, right?
100%. Like, I do. This is Ten of Pentacles. This show is Ten of Pentacles. Like, everything that I have in life has been Ten of Pentacles.
Well, because people think that because they're having a challenge or this like struggle realization, that's not working out. It's like, no, you're supposed to be in this struggle realization. That's working out for you. The fact that you are conscious of what's going on, it's working out for you. So it's like, I agree with Chris pulling the Ten of Pentacles. The whole point of this struggle, this fight, is the Ten of Pentacles moment. You know what I mean? So I love that he pulled that.
I think it's always been a shift show from the beginning, and because we fell in Atlantis and our society fell, we always have this boogeyman that something's going to fall apart. It's deep in our collective subconscious. And I think with all the stuff going on, what we're seeing fall apart, I think, are the negative, the old timelines of heaviness. And we're remembering, and I think basically facing and coping with this deep wound that we once ruined society. But I'm telling you, it looks like it's all going to work out in my psychic third eye.
It always does. It always does.
True, it always has.
I mean, we
even dropped nukes.
Right. I mean, we could either enjoy the ride or fight the ride. You're still going to happen. So you're still going to go there. It's still going to happen for you. Whether you, I would say most people are kicking and screaming to get there, but you're going to get there, Devon.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, people often don't even appreciate things that come easily to them. Right. That's why we see a lot of free puppies in the animal shelters, because they didn't have to put any effort into adopting that dog. And then they lose appreciation when things get hard again. But I mean, I do think that's also part of our purpose here, is to realize that we can overcome these things. Right. And so a lot of these people we've seen breaking down around us is to give us new ways and new approaches to handling these conflicts.
And I also think we're out of time. We're out of time. Like the planets are saying, with Neptune at 29 and Saturn at Pisces, sorry, this attraction is being discontinued. You gotta, you don't have to go home, but you're not staying here. We're discontinuing Earth 2. And so it's like, I guess you didn't listen to my first 15 warnings. Push down the stairs. You know what I mean? Like tumble, car crash, house, a lot of the drama that's happening, even the sad stuff, I think is all around where people were holding up, refusing to grow. Unfortunately, it's not a punishment. It's just that we're moving on now.
Well, people forget that we have to evolve as a species too. So like you're also obligated to hold your part for our species to evolve. And it's like, you're going to be pushed forward whether you like it or not. So it's definitely a collective process in this too. So yeah, I love that you said that, Christopher. It's like, hurry up. If you're not waiting, we're going to push you. Things are going to accelerate, So that's what's happening to a lot of people, but it's in there. People don't realize it's for their benefit. it's in their favor. So,
Well, there's two options: extinction and ascension.
right. I'd rather ascend,
Those
right?
Those are basically the two options. And I think we're in that moment now where people are really waking up. They're really seeing stuff this week. The old stuff's not working anymore. The old games aren't working anymore. The old excuses aren't working anymore. So you can definitely see, and I'm feeling a lot lighter and happier every day, but I did a lot of heavy purging and karma stuff and past life people stuff last week. It was intense. All right. That was a natural ending to that. And we were very happy here. We've been on the air 9 weeks, I guess. We're at episode 9, and we are so proud to have our first sponsor to LOL. It's Chi Organics. And we know this company personally because they came to Unite the Light. They gave us a whole bag full of amazing products. And we've all tried the products. And I have to say, here's the thing. One of our missions here at LOL is to be able to advertise clean products. Where do you find the clean products, the clean shampoos, the clean things that don't have, the underarm or, deodorant doesn't have aluminum in it, these types of things. We feel like we have responsibility to advertise these, and Chi is amazing. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
You were saying the same, Scott.
I've been using the peppermint shampoo every day. It's almost gone, so I'm gonna have to order some more. I love how it makes my scalp feel. I definitely use Dr. Brahmer's peppermint, but this is kind of a go-to for me. They have the rose body wash I've been using in the shower too. Face wash is really great. It smells really great too. And their cream, their moisturizer, it's really light, right? It doesn't feel very heavy. It feels very light. I don't usually use much products, but since it was given to me, I want to appreciate that, and because all natural ingredients, which I'm all for. I always use essential oils for everything, and they really kind of nail it on that regard. So they're amazing, and they smell wonderful. And I don't like too much fragrance, unlike Unite the Light. I was very fragrance oriented then, but very strong cologne, as Chris said. But this is nice and light. It smells great, but it's nice and light. So I love the products.
Totally. I mean, you literally could eat this and be fine.
Yeah.
It's basically made in basically a kitchen, from what we understand. And the cream is amazing, actually, because I was using it actually at the event because I was going from dry Colorado to crazy wet Texas, and my skin was flipping out, and it soothed. It was nice. We actually have a little B-roll to show you of a commercial that we've shot on behalf of Chi. Adam, can we roll tape?
Since 1995, Chi has infused every product with love. Our star is Chi Cream, made with kombucha tea, organic and wild-crafted herbs, and essential oils. Its fresh citrus scent appeals to both men and women. Age gracefully with our rehydrating facial serum. Made with organic sea buckthorn berry extract, giving your face a healthy glow. Your skin will love you. Scan the QR code on your screen now for 20% off with promo code LOL.
Okay.
I just want to say my scalp.
We're learning dissolves.
That's only my scalp, guys. He's like, what hair do I have? It's like, I need a healthy scalp because I don't have hair. So my scalp's got to look good. My scalp good. All right.
No, I think it's hilarious that a bald guy is the shampoo spokesperson. I've already talked about that. And she's being really generous. Sanandra is her name. She makes everything with love. She literally consciously puts love into the products. She has literally rituals where she puts love in the products. No kidding, in nature. And she's going to give you an LOL viewer 20% off. Give it a try. She even has a little handy travel pack, all sorts of cool stuff. QR code it and let her know LOL sent you. We were leading out loud. All right, friends, that was great. Chi, she's so nice. You guys met? Did you meet her at the event?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, there were so many people to meet, right? And it was intense, but she was wonderful.
So grateful for the amazing products. Thank you.
Yeah,
amazing. And that brings us to tonight's main topic: miracles. Which, by the way, we were planning something out. I feel like Oprah Winfrey. Look under your chair. At home, we've snuck in your house. Miracles. We're going to do a different topic, and I have been just becoming super. I don't know about y'all, but I've been becoming crisp in my psychic awareness. Very crisp messages and clarity with with absolute certainty and knowing. And basically, my guide says we need to do a show about miracles because basically, I guess heaven needs a better press agent. I don't know. So tonight we're going to talk about miracles. And the first question to go around the table is, because this is one of the most overly used topics in the light work industry, like, what in your opinion is a miracle? You guys tell me, and then I'll tell you what my opinion is. Scott?
Oh, it's me.
I'll take bottom right corner for 5.
I'm just like, yeah, right. We should spin a wheel, have a wheel on the screen and see where it stops. And
Wheel of
Devon,
Fortune.
so so miracle can come in so many different formats. A lot of times we think miracles have some unobtainable event or something that's like breaks physical reality, laws and so forth. But miracles could be just simple realizations that you have throughout your day, little things that happen, little synchronicities are miracles too. And a lot of times, people may not think that sometimes you need a negative circumstance to boost you forward. That could be a miracle if you snapped out of your haze. That's a miracle. So I think we tend to look at miracles as it has to be something coming from the sky with a mariachi band, and it's like, no, there's always these little everyday miracles that you can allow yourself to experience when you see the flow of life and the flow that things are kind of connected in that sense. That's a miracle of everyday miracles. And when you tune to that, then you don't have to deprive yourself of experiencing miracles. So there's a whole array, a spectrum of types of miracles that you could experience. It doesn't have to be these grandeur, cinematic events. It could be the little simple things. It could be the fact that, you went on the street and someone like helped you, carry your bags, or you helped someone else carry a bag and see them brighten their day. That's a miracle in a sense, because you're changing energy. So for me, a miracle is when you're always constantly changing energy, manipulating energy. That's a miracle that we have the ability to do that.
There's miracles and things that we take for granted, for sure. I mean, the sun rising every day, babies being born, fresh air, those kinds of things. I know we don't all have that, but when we flip the script on it, it doesn't have to be this huge thing. It could be these amazing synchronicities that only with hindsight do we realize, wow, that was a miracle, but like you said, Scott, sometimes you get caught up in like you're being tripped and you're not being allowed to get onto this train, and then this happens, and then in hindsight you realize you avoided something that honestly really was a miracle you avoided. So I do think that sometimes the hype around miracles gives people that sense that it's never going to happen to them, when really we can just start appreciating the everyday miracles right outside our window.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. Chris, what do you think?
I was going to say being with you 4 is a miracle.
Oh.
Every single day I look forward to it. So, that's a miracle. I think, I totally agree with you too. And I don't know that I have much to add other than I think we should be creating miracles for sure. I think we should be looking for opportunities. Like I started looking for stuff all the time years ago when I broke out of my funk, that I was in for a long time. And, I just started looking for those miracles, things to be grateful for. I started looking for breakthroughs, and, it's amazing when you start looking for it, you actually see it. And, to me, miracles most of mine are all breakthrough moments that I've had. So that's kind of what I focus on, is finding something that, an opportunity or something that is a breakthrough. And so, I think when we look for it, we see it, we find it.
It's true.
Absolutely.
I feel miracles are our birthright. It's part of the matrix. It's, we're going to be talking about Jesus later. He did a lot of miracles, and we'll talk about that as well. But I honestly believe that a miracle, because I'm always manifesting, I appreciate the little miracles, the synchronicities. To me, that's our energy interacting with the matrix. We are one with the entire conscious world. And once you realize you are the spoon, you can bend the spoon. I fully believe in that matrix in a sense. But to me, a real miracle is when the matrix takes over without asking, without a prayer, without an intention. And my story tonight will be an example of just that. Yeah, I'm dangling the carrot.
Right. I agree with that, but sometimes we look for miracles that aren't really part of our story too, and so we have to understand sometimes you might be thinking if something doesn't happen, you think it's the miracle's not happening for you. It's like, is it part of your story? Is it relevant too? So many people deprive themselves of those miracles. Like, I'd be a miracle if I grew hair, right? Come on, CG, let's go. Let's get this hair growing. But if it doesn't happen, then I deprive myself of the miracles because I feel like it's not happening. So we also have to look at, the relevancy of things. So we don't deprive ourselves of miracles because we're depriving ourselves of what didn't happen.
Right.
Oh yeah. People hang on the negative and they miracle themselves right off the script. I mean,
right.
That miracle energy will work you down and destroy you as much as it will create you, depending on where you send the creation energy and your intention. I feel.
Yeah, and I do believe prayers do work too. I mean, I do feel like putting the energy behind calling that in, but sometimes the answer to your prayer is not getting it the way you want to. So I know there, like you said, Christopher, there's definitely times where the synchronicity is in flow and it just happens, but I do think you can actually put it out there and ask for that as well.
And two, off that, I don't think you have to be a believer either to experience miracles either, because miracles are results, like they're natural events. You have to believe in it. Do I believe in gravity being able to fall off the earth? No. And so it's there. It's part of, like Christopher said, part of the matrix. So you don't have to believe. I think that if you want to be aware of such, more self-aware of yourself and what's around you, like Chris was saying about appreciation, then you'll start seeing those miracles. And so it doesn't require belief.
It's sort of like a near-death experience. You don't have to believe; they're sending you back to Earth.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what it is. Like
A lot
there's
of
an
people
operating
didn't
system.
believe until it happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Most people don't. Actually, most
Right.
people who do die were the skeptics, and you look in their charts, and they had like a really horrible past life in religion, and so you could see they somewhere swore off God, and so then they had like a near-death experience. To just realize it all exists.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, guys, if you want us to talk about near-death experiences sometime, because it's such a
That'd
fun
be good.
topic, right?
I had a few. Yeah. But,
Right.
and also another miracles too, like I was just coming in my mind, and then like, our producer just threw it out there. Right. And I was thinking to myself, like, a lot of people look at healers, right. And they want to see a miracle in someone they love. Like, oh, I want a miracle, I want them to heal, but we have to understand their karma. The life there has a karma that's got a contract. So sometimes we think because someone didn't heal the way we wanted them to heal, that somehow it doesn't exist. Miracles don't exist. It's like, well, healing is a part of an evolution of results too, of what we're doing in our lives. So if you don't see someone healing, they have some karma they still haven't worked out. So if we understand the parameters of such, we wouldn't let the things that are not turning into miracles, like we said previously, distract you from that. So but yeah, healers can definitely assist in the healing process, which could be a miracle too, because when two or more gather together, there's more power involved. Like we have four here, there's a lot of power here, right? So we can influence that, but sometimes there could be resistance that could prevent the miracle, and thus not allowing the healing process to become
or prevent the manifestation. You mean? That's today's buzzword of the day.
Right? But I did say, again, you can't manifest without the karma resolution. And so, and I think healers, we tend to like look at people who can heal like as if that is the end all be all, like that can bypass. And unfortunately it can't. And so
I honestly think you get sent to the healer when it's time to heal, and you don't find the healer until it's time to heal.
Exactly.
And you have to, the karma says you have to go through the misery because you have to understand the experience of the karma. So you're not getting out of it.
Exactly.
Although I have said in the last week, the synchronicities have been ridiculous. In the sense of I'm like wanting, a cup of coffee and turning around and people like, want a cup of coffee? Like I'm literally like, whoa, this is starting to get a little, liquid.
In sync and connected, right?
Where's miracles with tarot cards, Chris?
Right. I was thinking the same thing.
What about it?
Like, do you see any
what's your
miracles?
opinion, man? You pull cards for a living.
Yeah. Do I see miracles? Yeah.
I mean, do you see the cards, report them, then see them? You know what I mean? Like, have you tracked them with the cards? Is there signs of them coming up?
Yeah, well, 10 of Cups would be would be focusing on a miracle.
Wow.
So I would say,
wow,
absolutely. And I would also say that gratitude has been coming up like crazy. That we talked about this. So like a lot of the gratitude stuff, but also a lot of the focus. Like all my readings lately have been all about your focus and like what you're focusing on. And so I think that, and really kind of like the two different worlds. Scott, I think was kind of alluding to this earlier. We're kind of like have these two worlds going on, and it's like, which one do you want to be a part of? And that splits. I think it's going to get farther and farther and farther. So, I think the miracle for everyone here will be going to the good side, right, and not the other direction. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel we just make it out of here alive.
Yeah, that's a miracle.
Having gratitude for the little things, like finding a parking space last minute when you thought you were going to miss your plane. That just happened.
I always put in the prayer for the parking place before I leave.
Me too. Me too.
And spirits
order in early.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And what?
Right. I'm saying, and bowel movement, that's a miracle too for some people. So appreciate those
for some.
You can't miss a week without the bathroom humor.
We finally got there.
We had one. We need a bathroom humor, Christopher. We finally got one into this
24
week.
minutes
I will be praying for your bathroom tonight. Tell me if it works. Well, okay. Put your money where your mouth is. Does everyone have a little story to share of a miracle you've experienced so we can give our audience an understanding of what we're talking about when we say miracles? And maybe we'll see different types of miracles as examples right here, right now. Who would like to go first?
Well, we all would like to go first, but someone should
I'll
pick.
go. I'll go.
Yes,
or
Chris, go.
maybe Devon Reck will go first. Since we're gonna go to her.
Devon
We've
Reck
all
Cruz.
gotten married to Chris. This is Sister Wives season
exactly.
20.
I think Chris Reck should go first. No, we've already changed off the
we're already
screen.
switching. Well,
Jesus,
I'll
our
go.
viewers are
So,
getting sick.
It's a miracle.
on episode 6 with the amazing Dana, we talked about my lizards, right? And so this was a minor miracle. I was talking about my lizards not laying eggs, and so right after that episode, I made some changes that she actually suggested, and I'm up to 32 eggs right now. That's a miracle, right? I had we had a baby, so one baby hatched, and that was the egg had already been laid before the Dana episode. So the egg hatched, and they're up there breeding like rabbits. So miracle, right? And abundance,
Miracle.
both.
And now you've got your own little Jurassic Park going on down there.
It is, yeah.
That's awesome.
So we'll blame you.
It's me.
Miracles, and a connection to that miracle is I live on Chuckwalla Road, which is a lizard.
So the lizard,
yeah, that's right.
That.
Oh, you both live on the same road?
No, but I live on a road with a lizard.
Oh, gotcha.
Chuckwalla's a lizard.
That is interesting. That's the lizard brain taking over slowly from the inside out.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pretty soon to be able to see my eyes ship shape. They'll be all over like the.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
He's a
That'd be
lizard.
crazy.
See those eyes shape shift? Yeah.
Yeah.
Devon,
People
what's your
said that.
miracle?
Well, I'll try to keep it short because it expands several years. But when I was 16 years old, my grandmother painted this painting. I don't know if I'm showing it on camera. This is a picture of my
we
horse.
can see it.
She was a
It's
painter.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
in 2020, I put the house that I spent 3 years designing and building with my late husband on the market because I wanted to move away from the area, get closer to culture. And I had a contract on the house here where the couple wanted to buy all the decor and all the furnishings with it. They were from Europe. They wanted everything one thing. And at the very end, when we were about to sign the contract, they argued that they deserved this painting, that I should give them this, which I said, I never said I would give you my grandmother's painting of my horse. It delayed the contract to the point that the shutdown happened and the funding fell through. And then the shutdown happened here where I realized I don't want to live in a tiny rental during this thing. And we moved back. I took the house off the market and it was almost a huge mistake. But I fully believe my grandmother played a role in me not making one of the biggest mistakes I could have made for my family. So I just thought that was really cool that it all linked to a painting. And my grandmother was the one that also got me out of the spiritual closet after she passed away. She came to me in a dream. So there's a lot there. And again, like you said, Scott, it kind of takes you have to have the hindsight of it all.
You do, because you can piece the pictures together. There's objectivity. You can see it all working like that. So it's wonderful.
The whole deal fell through because of a painting from 1996. So.
Well, your grandmother also helped me get out of the closet, so that's great to her. Thanks, Grandma. That's my miracle story. My miracle.
What's your miracle?
Oh, we're going to Christopher.
Oh, sorry, Scott. You go.
No, Scott.
Okay, I was reading the order on the script. So yeah, mine is interesting. I was at a time where I was like really wanting to feel like I need to do a shift in my music creation, and so I was doing kind of rock and very kind of like edgy music and thought-provoking music. And some was like, I feel like I need to do more like pop-oriented and synth pop, and I don't know if I should do this. And so I was questioning that for a while, and then also I was getting all these Michael Jackson synchronicities, and that was coming around me, and like, why does this Michael Jackson stuff keep popping up around me? And hearing so much about Michael Jackson, and I wasn't a mega fan or anything like that, so it wasn't normal. So one day I go out to lunch with a buddy of mine, and it was random, and it was out in Glendale when I used to live in LA, and I never went out there. And I saw this wonderful castle looking thing. I'm like, what's that? Let's go over there. Let's take some pictures. Drove around in there, go around to the back. There was nobody there except one person sitting in their car. And I'm like, the minute I want to take pictures, got to be one person looking at what's going on, right? So I'm taking pictures. I'm walking around, and we see this Michael Jackson shrine, like right in front of one of the, and it was a forest lawn cemetery. And so I'm like, what's this Michael Jackson shrine doing here? I'm like, this is odd. I'm like, my friend's like, dude, this is getting creepy with all these Michael Jackson signs, right? So then this guy that was sitting in the car started walking up to us. And I'm like, hey, is this a shrine? Do people come here? And he goes, yeah, it's a shrine, but his tomb's inside and no one from the public's allowed in. I said, you guys don't do tours? Like, no. And he looks at me and goes, come on. I'm like, what? So he opens the door, and we were like walking in, and we got to see the Michael Jackson shrine, and we saw all these other celebrities and stuff like that were there. And I'm like, this is so odd. Like, this is creepy. Like, only families allowed in here. Here I'm allowed in to see Michael Jackson's shrine. This is odd. So of course I left. I felt like it was very epic. And then right when I got in the car, I had this Michael Jackson fan page liking every single one of my photos. I'm like, oh my God, like, what does this mean? So then I felt inspired. I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to do more poppy music. Let's do it. More uplifting poppy music. So that's when I made my change. That was back in 2014, 2015. So I'm like, that was strange. You know, I think the Michael Jackson fan page liking all my content right after I left there was creepy enough.
Yeah,
that was. I wonder if he's trying to work with you.
I mean, I mean, people my crotch a lot, so that means, you know.
I think all music is channeled from somewhere. And
grab them by the what?
Musicians, I think dead musicians still want to play. I think they still want to come through psychics like you, and they wish you want to take over your body and start doing the moonwalk right here on this camera.
Right. But I didn't really want to be that needy. It was like, oh, I channel celebrity. Like, I didn't want to be that sensationalist like that. Like, anyone can say that. And so, but my own personal experience was there was a connection being made there. Yeah. And right now, like, and I don't rehearse his music, but everyone keeps saying like, oh, that reminds me of Michael Jackson. And I keep hearing that now still. So I'm like, I mean, I like to be my own artist, but it's interesting. Maybe there is a little bit of working, you know, going on underneath. There's some guidance.
I think so. I mean, that's another topic for another show. I've absolutely had conversations with dead people. That's another story. The last one was B. Arthur. But I have a story to tell as well. B. Arthur did come to me. I channeled B. Arthur, but it's another story. For me, my first miracle goes back to when I was 23 years old. And I say first because, and I think the reason why I was told to do miracles is because heaven was saying to me like, hey, we did all this shit for you, so you talk about it, you know? So I was like, oh, okay, let's do it. But I was 23 years old. My wife at the time was 9 months pregnant. And we were in San Francisco, downtown, back when San Francisco was nice. And it was like 5 a.m. because for whatever reason, all fucking maternity things are at 5 a.m. You know what I mean? Like, so I was up and I was driving her like 5 a.m. It was still dark outside. And San Francisco is just quiet, like downtown, you know, where we happen to be. He was born in San Francisco General, which is downtown. So we're driving through, I can't remember exactly where it was. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like the main strip of downtown. It's like 5 a.m. and suddenly this horn honks like so loud. Honk! And I was like, what the? And my reaction was like, you know, left mirror, right mirror, rear view mirror, back over to my right mirror. The horn is still honking. Okay. And I see this car. Now suddenly it goes to slow motion. Literally. It really did. It's funny how this happens.
Yeah. That.
And I see in slow motion, this woman running the red light, heading for my baby and my wife. And my mind's like, oh fucking God, pardon all the cussing night, but it's deserving. We're in Gemini. But like, I'm like, oh my God. And she suddenly just wakes up and stops the car. And you see her completely drunk. She was like, what happened? Kind of thing. And meanwhile, we just kind of coast like right through it. And the horn stops honking. And I'm like, I turned to my wife at the time and I'm like, who the hell honked? Who honked at her? And I had the gut. I was like, I tried our horn. It was our car that honked.
Wow.
By itself through the whole intersection. Saved my son's life and my wife. So I think that was a divine intervention, which is where I get that, that thing. Miles. And I almost think it, if we want to go off here, I kind of think it was my son that did it.
Could be.
I kind of think my son, because he was appearing before he was born a lot.
Yeah.
He was making lots of appearances and psychics were like, your son's flying around. I'm like, I know, he spooked my wife last night at 5.
Right.
So it was like, he would blow through us. We were haunted by him. He's like making jokes and stuff with this, but that was from that point on, I was like, okay, there's something to this whole heaven thing. There's something to it.
Yep.
Pretty powerful. If y'all have had a miracle, we recommend, hey, share just a paragraph of your miracle story in our comment section. We would love everyone to see and realize just how common this is, whether it's a small miracle or a large miracle. Post in the comments below because not everyone watches the chat. And we'd love to hear about your miracle. Maybe we'll even talk about you next week. Brilliant. Whew, that was wonderful. Now, I think it's time to move on to our next topic. We're going to do History's Mysteries, and I believe that is you, Devon.
Oh, yeah. Well, the history mystery here, we have the big question. Did Jesus really rise from the dead? The Bible includes stories about several miracles: Jesus turning water into wine, walking on water, Moses parted the sea. And there was the great miracle in the Bible of the resurrection of Jesus. So I want to hear from
Mhm.
all of you guys. What do you think about all the mystery around these miracles? And obviously it's a very powerful energy there because we have so many people in the world, including myself, who follow this.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a miracle people actually think it existed. I'm kidding. But I'm kidding. No, I really I get sucked up. No, I think, right. I'm kidding. I think that to me, those are miracles are really reflections and a message about what we can do. I think that, Christ rising from the dead is a reflection that we are spirit too. And so I think that that's a reflection of us and the miracle of life in a sense. So I do believe Jesus is kind of the Christ consciousness is really much Christ sending a message of how we actually are as a spiritual being. And so I think that's a great message. So all that's a miracle that, yeah, we can manifest in a sense, right? We can multiply things in a sense, and we can rise above too, and we can heal. We're all practicing that, guys. We're prophesizing, we're healing, we're manifesting. We'll get to more of that later, right? And so we are actually, and we do live again and talk to spirit. So we're kind of being the Christ energy in this incarnation too, by exhibiting that type of energy and behavior that we have. So I think the miracle exists within Christ, yes, but we're the reflections of that.
Yeah, and you always claim you can walk on water, so yeah.
Yeah, always. Just as long as there's little ice buckets underneath it.
Yeah. Reck?
Yeah, I think I think that these the Bible miracles were things that were the green screen's messing with my cards tonight, but something that was meant to be seen. It's like these are stories that were meant to inspire or something like that with the Six of Wands. And so and also to like make people plant seeds. Kind of weirdly enough, I always look at the Knight of Cups as a card of planting seeds, and the clarification was the Seven of Pentacles, which is like the growth of the seed. So I almost look at these stories as kind of like meant to be inspiration and meant to kind of make people feel inspired or take action on their dreams or to create miracles maybe in their own life. So that's kind of what I get off of that. Yeah, interesting.
I mean, this is one of those things you have to develop as a psychic and learn your communication. But I actually have like 3 Jesus miracle stories I could tell. And I, with beyond a doubt, feel like I've had contact with him. And I don't think that's crazy. And there was a time when I was afraid to tell people that. I'm not afraid anymore. Maybe with Jupiter and Gemini, I'm just going to be, come out. I believe in the Christ conscious. I believe in Jesus. And I believe we can all make miracles. I believe there's going to be a recipe for it. I believe we're going to learn. I think part of the new age, he was basically saying, I think, to those people, like, y'all are way closed down. We have so many amazing potential in us. We have spiritual technology inside of us that can manipulate the universe and astral travel and go through space time. I mean, what's possible in the future to me is so exciting. And the irony here is that this is we're just now ending the age of Pisces, and the age of Pisces was started by Pisces Jesus, although evidence is showing he's probably a Virgo based on what we think astrologically is the star of Bethlehem, which is the star Sirius conjunct Venus and Jupiter that happened in 5 BC. Most astrologers agree it was 5 BC. It was in Virgo, and Virgo is the healer sign. It's the sign that has the ability to manipulate matter. If Virgos would, just kind of get their alignment towards what they can do instead of what they can't, kind of thing. So we're all shifting, I think, to that direction. But I feel 100% very close to Christ consciousness. I name myself Christopher for that reason. My father told me I came to him when I was in the womb, and he says, "You told me to call you Christopher, so we named you Christopher." I was like, "Call me Christopher."
Interesting.
So yeah, my parents were named. Me and my brothers were all named from my parents' psychic ability. We all told my parents the names we wanted.
Well, and I've had experience with the Christian church for 13 years as a practicing Christian. So I got to know more Christ when I left the church, actually. And so, Christ has been a huge inspiration to me of healing from the church experiences I went through with conversion therapy. So Christ is a huge energy for me. I feel like Christ has been one of the most misunderstood people in history, the most misunderstood person. And so, but yeah, I agree that that Christ consciousness still definitely lives on. And even though I'm out of the Christian church, he's still walking with my path too. So for sure.
Devon?
Is that it?
Yeah, I was just going to agree with everybody here. I was lucky that my introduction to Jesus Christ at a young age was very loving. I didn't have a lot of the conditioning and things that people have gone through that have kind of caused them to stray. But I still found the same thing as you, Scott, that most of the time I felt closest with Jesus when I was being guided to do work out in nature, being guided to do things that just felt like it was helping somebody, not very specifically ordered. And I consider myself very close to Jesus still to this day. I feel like, he's played a huge role in me, again, coming out of the spiritual closet. My grandmother was a Christian and took me to church, and I went with my mom. It was a fun experience. So I was lucky in that regard, but I did learn from watching other people that there would be this arm's length connection with Jesus. And I do really and truly believe Jesus was showing us the miracles we're capable of doing. Like you said, Christopher, and what Chris Reck said too, these miracles in this Bible are meant to be documentation of what is really possible and the way that we have limited ourselves through societal conditionings and the powers that be. So big believer in him rising from in the resurrection.
But Christ also said, "Go ye into the world," not sit there in your own church and like build your own. Like go into the world, experience the world, heal the world, and preach to the world. We're supposed to be doing our different elements, and I tend to believe people always ask you about psychics and mediums, like, "Oh, what does the Bible say about that?" They have prophets. Angels appeared to them. That's being a medium. Angel appeared to you. The Bible was written by man, inspired by God. That's a mediumistic ability. So we can call it what it is. They channeled spirit then. We channel spirit now, and we prophesize now. We're psychic today. So it's the same energy. So a lot of people asked about that. Religion and Christ and being a psychic medium. It's the same stuff. They did it back then.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've heard some stories too. I mean, I don't know if y'all have heard these stories, and they come from mystics that I know. First of all, one story is that when Jesus comes to you in a reading, he cracks a joke. Yeah, I'm not kidding. He cracks a joke. That is a standard thing. He cracks a joke. The house smells like chocolate chip cookies with Archangel Michael's around too, by the way. There's like these little kind of things that happen. And I have had an experience with Jesus where I was laughing so hard from the jokes. He came to me in the shower. I'll tell this story another time. I just want to put out, guys, how many great stories we have to share.
More toilet talk. Here it comes.
I was laughing so hard. I was laughing so hard I couldn't breathe. The joke after the joke. But I fully believe that the Christ consciousness is one of the masters you call on. And personally, I think Christ is best when you're suffering. Like he's really good when you're really suffering. And when someone is in, we're talking a heartache that just won't heal, a loss, a death, like that's sort of his clientele. All the ascended masters, they all sort of have little things they go to. It's really like a Kaiser Permanente up there. Everyone sort of has their own kind of specialty. And as you get a little bit better psychically, you just start to refer clients who to pray to and how to pray to them.
But, and I just want to say, see Christ not through the religion, through your own personal connection channel to
without
the
a doubt.
Because religion has bastardized the Christ consciousness, and it's man's interpretation to control society. So get out of that. Find the Christ link to Christ consciousness, and you'll understand exactly where he stands now with you. That energy.
Yeah, Constantine was evil. I mean, I honestly think that they saw he was a hit. A Roman Empire religioned Rome with a religion, and they made a religion to control this good message. And basically the irony here's the irony. I didn't even think about this when we come to this topic. I think we're just now coming out of that spell right now.
I think so too. I've been saying that for a while. I think so as well.
I think we're really starting to wake up and understand and come into that place.
Well, and I wanted to bring up two other figures in the Bible too. I've had personal connections with Mother Mary. I've recently been introduced more deeply to Mother Mary Magdalene. I've been studying her through some people we work with, Christopher.
Yes. I was going to bring that up.
The synchronicities have been off the chart. When you just allow those connections and you like when I say my angel messages, I'm very intentional about who I'm connecting with. And it's the same kind of idea there. But then I've had Mother Mary appear in the most unusual circumstances and brought on immense healing for me. So there are so many amazing figures out there that we can connect. Like you said, Christopher, Scott, you were talking about do it in your own way through your heart.
It's true. It's true.
Totally.
Well, that's awesome. So we'll be right back right now with this quick message, right? So I guys want you to throw your comments in, throw your comments in the comment section. Let us know about like the miracles you guys have experienced, in your lives. We want to hear that as well. And any questions about miracles, put them in the comment section. But first we have a great promo from Devon right now.
Yeah, well, thank you, Scott. I wanted to invite everybody, if you haven't, to sign up for my free newsletter to get my free gift. It's my ebook, Is It a Sign? How to Recognize Signs and Discover Their Meaning. That's one of the most common things I get questions about. Is this a sign? What does it mean? And I guide you through the 5 questions to ask if you think you've seen a sign. Also, when you sign up for my free newsletter, you'll get updates on all the new videos I put on my channel, information about upcoming events. And of course, I do offer one-on-one readings occasionally throughout the year, so you'd be notified when that was out. So just go over to devonduerr.com. That's DEVONDUERR.com. You can also scan the QR code right here, and go ahead and wait a minute while you get there and scroll down. You should see a pop-up box. I just had somebody say to me, it's taking a minute to come up, but there's a pop-up box where you can drop your email in there. And as you sign up for my newsletter, you will get that ebook there, and it's my gift to you. And I'd love to stay connected with you in that way. So thank you for the opportunity for me to let you know about that. And I'm so honored to connect with all of you here.
We're honored too. And if you all don't know, Devon Duerr is the best angel reader I've ever met. And there's so much there when you have a reading with her. I feel like I have a guardian angel on earth watching over me. So I just want to second and give that little praise because it's deserved, sister.
Thank you so much, Chris.
She's verified.
Oh, you brought your date.
Yeah, look at the dog.
He never comes in, so he felt like a little like scared about something, so he just needs some energy right now.
Yeah.
So I just felt like I really kind of attend to
Well,
him.
you should call on Jesus.
He's a Leo, like he's very very like independent. So like when he comes and needs something, like okay, what's going
There's
on?
a reason.
Give him some love. Yeah. Speaking of, so we're going now to Shoot the Shift. Welcome to Shoot the Shift, guys. This is where we respond to your comments and questions in the comment section. How do you guys feel about the energy this week? Leave it in the comments. Right?
Yeah. How do you feel with the energy?
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh my gosh, it was
You guys
intense.
want to comment? How was the energy for you? Yeah. I mean, let's just do some feedback.
Well, Rocco is actually feeling a weird energy this week too, clearly.
Yeah, look at him.
Yeah.
Look at that face.
Hi.
He's tired now.
Cute.
All right, Rocco.
Ratings just went through the roof. That's so cool. We love Rocco.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I'll kick that off too. I mean, the energy has been kind of, it's been interesting. Like, I think, I've been witnessing a lot of things falling apart. Like, because I've done my work back in 2022, 2023. I was hit hard with a lot, but I understand Spirit was preparing me because I like to be able to teach what I've gone through and with experience instead of just teaching shit. So I feel like it's been a great representation for me to see how things are actually shifting to me and shoot the shift. Things are shifting. Mm-hmm. So I think with the shift, there's going to be some heaviness. I'm excited. Like, Christopher was saying earlier about being excited about this shift in the future. Yeah. I'm kind of excited. So I wanted to let you guys know or experience the heaviness. There's a lot of great coming. Okay, so I might not be feeling all that tense and heaviness that you guys are feeling, but because I've done that work, I know where it's going. And so I want you guys to feel relieved that this is all for a positive reason, that things are changing quickly for us. So, your heaviness that you're feeling, the split that you're feeling, the dichotomy you're feeling within yourself, this is all for your benefit. And when you flash forward to 2025 and you notice all the movement that's happened in 2024, you'll be so thankful for all the movement that you've had in this life and in this year, excuse me. But a lot of movement is, those who are doing the work and feeling the great movement forward, and some have been feeling more of an emotional movement, like a purge. But all that's important movement. It's going to benefit you guys. Going to be 2025 saying, "Thank God I did it in 2024," because I'm saying that about my 2023, what I did before. I was kind of head of the curve in that sense.
Most likely be a bowel movement too. I'm just saying.
Well, that's what we're saying, right?
Third time.
Three jokes in a night. I like it.
Chris, you kind of recycled.
Thank you. Tip your waitresses.
Yeah. I mean, you
I like it.
come up with a new joke there. You recycled that one. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Lazy.
The energy is
I want to hear
intense.
from Chris Reck what it's been like.
Chris?
Today was like a Mercury retrograde. I couldn't get my recording equipment to work, and then like literally I heard from like 10 people, is today a Mercury retrograde? What's going on with the energy? I heard from so many people that had like technical issues today, so that's where I'm at. And definitely the whole breaking down thing. I think I even mentioned this last week. Just I feel like certain things are breaking, and I'm having to like fix other stuff, and I can't even focus on what's breaking. It's like just forget about that. It's already broken. Focus on what's working, right?
Yeah.
Roger. Interestingly enough, I had a private reading over the weekend with a human design expert. His name is Design Maven, FYI. He's freaking brilliant. He was at Unite the Light. He's a Pisces and probably an alien. But one thing he told me was, which is a good thing. I just mean I met him probably on Sirius, seriously. But what I'm saying is, he says that on February 28th, according to Ra, the creator of the human design system, on February 20th, 2025, we have 3 circuits, according to human design, that like circuit into the root chakra. And he says that those 3 circuits all merge into one connection to the root chakra. And according to Ra, we're literally going to step away from our root chakra and be much more numb below the waist, so to speak. In fact, according to him and according to human design, we'll now be solar plexus will be the root chakra now, basically. Your solar plexus will root you according to their lore, if you will. I've used that word 3 times tonight. Does that resonate for any of you psychically, like a shift like that? The things that's interesting about it is I've always wondered, how the hell are we going to go the age of light? And then I realized, oh, God's going to spiritually neuter us.
I mean,
It was a joke. It was supposed to go over better than that, but I love your expression.
I'm just trying to process numb below the waist, like it. You know, is it going to work?
I'm a Leo rising. I'm like Rocco. I go a little too far sometimes.
You know, I want it to still work, and I want to put a cork.
Me too. I came down here for that. Damn it.
But you know, and I think it's true, right? Because I think that a lot of people are feeling like the modes, emotion in their gut, right? The kind of solar plexus intuition. Like a lot of my intuition has been very gut related, and less crown or heart. So I think that's true. I think that's also a reflection of digestion, right? So if we think it's solar plexus about digesting, we're able to digest the energy, we're able to digest information, and so if we can digest that, we can purge it out too, right? So I think it is true. I think we are digesting a lot, and finding that release very empowering in that sense. So I can feel that psychically, you know, to be, you know, of course it's a design, so they figured it out in that way, but I can concur with that energy. I've been feeling that without understanding so much of that.
Just a note. I mean, it's not that you're numb below the waist. I'm trying to be funny and clearly failing. But what it really is that we have been fight or flight, root chakra driven as a human race. And now we're going to be thoughts and feelings, solar plexus driven as a human race. And that is the enlightenment. And what is fascinating to me is that, you know, these root chakra lines that go all the way up into our stuff are sort of, you know, pulling away, right? And retrograding small. Plus also it makes, he said, root chakra issues more complex because they're not separated. They're all going to be through one channel, which is also interesting.
And Devon, don't you think too, like with this shift too, because as you know, when we're channeling that, we have our different clairs, and sometimes spirit tells us to use clairvoyance more, and then we shift to clairaudience, and we shift to claircognizance. So there's a shifting of our abilities. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, well, what the images that have been shown to me, they feel like you said a little like you could kind of feel numb in parts of your body occasionally, or I'm getting a lot of reports of vertigo, things like that, just feeling really lightheaded or dizzy. And the image they show me is almost like walking through different realities, and your DNA has to morph, so to speak, to enter that. And when you were talking about the digestion, they were also showing me that that's part of it too, is the way we are going to begin changing how we digest food, how we move, how we enter into these dimensions is going to affect our diets. It's going to affect how we feel day to day, and it's going to be different day to day depending on the collective energy.
But digestion figurative, how we digest our energy, like just in figurative, you know?
Well, right now we're taking food and breaking it down for the energy, but I am actually skeptical of that though. I mean, I'm starting to wonder if we've been told the right story about food and calories and everything else.
No,
I mean, I do think it helps.
No, I think the whole first it was like low fat, then like low carb, then it's all bull. We're demonizing the components that we need. We need fat, sugars, and proteins and carbs. We need all that. People say low carb, like, so you don't eat vegetables because vegetables are carbs, right? So you need vegetables. So it's. I think we've been say all these other things are the demons instead of looking at the chemicals in the foods.
I'm saying demons, they're saying there's people that live off of the sun. Like there's a whole cult of people who apparently don't eat. It's been documented.
I believe that.
Like one guy hasn't eaten for a year. It's been documented. All he does is stare at the sun in the morning and stare at the sun at night. He drinks water, and he's completely charged off the earth. He's not using food. Yeah, I believe it too. Praise.
I believe it. Yep.
What are the cards say, Chris, Rick?
I don't believe any of it. Is what I'm gonna say. So I think that what I think is going on here is that we're moving to more heart-based. It's crazy that you say that. I literally say all the time with the devil card that devil is root chakra energy that needs to come up to the head, be expressed into the world, which would be like more living from your heart, kind of taking those root chakra ideas and expressing them. And, those two people on the devil card have the devil horns, or they have the little animal horns. It's like our animal instincts. And so I do agree that I think we are kind of going from that animalistic energy to more of this like heart-based energy where,
Mhm.
but it's more like we're not holding things in. We are more
Right.
like expressing things and letting things out. And really, that's why I don't look at the Three of Swords as a bad card. It just says you have to get those swords out of your heart. And, that's kind of what I feel right
That's
there.
happening now. I pulled
Yeah.
out a sword this week.
hmm
I've been
Healing our
pulling out
hearts.
swords out of the stone and the heart. Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people say too, like, the terminology, oh, my heart sunk to my stomach. So I think a lot of people do think from their solar plexus too as a heart related, and like he was saying, purging it up and stuff. So I kind of think Chris is kind of agreeing with us in a sense.
I agree.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
On
Even
that
though you
note,
don't believe. But but
On that note,
what's
I think
interesting
let's
is in astrology, the fourth house is your emotional foundation. Your foundation of your chart is your third house and your fourth house, which are your thoughts and feelings. So astrology says thoughts and feelings are the basis of conscious reality. This root chakra is actually in astrology is how we express ourselves in the world. And I feel like, when we went through survival in the age of Pisces and the age of Aries, we became very root chakra, fight or flight, and all of our energy kind of pulled in, which is really what the dark ages were, us pulling back out of fear, pulling in our energy. And one thing about the enlightenment is that I think we open up and letting the root let go of that fight or flight fear is what allows you to ascend to the solar plexus.
Yeah, you can't stay like heavy down to earth, So yeah, I think it is about ascension.
You need to have grounding. I think that if we're raising consciousness and awareness to things, we need something to ground us so we don't float away. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we do need to be grounded in that sense. So I totally agree with that as well.
Oh, I'm grounded by my root. Aren't we all? I know where you're taking that. You don't have to.
I'm not saying a damn thing.
I was going to say something about a toilet, but I had to. No joke popped into my head.
No taking ships over here, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, we have just a couple minutes left, gentlemen and lady. Chris Reck. What's our
this
roulette
week's
question?
psychic roulette is aliens may be living among us disguised as humans, according to a Harvard researcher. A paper written by research scientists at Harvard suggests aliens could be living underground or on the moon or both, and or walking among us. So my question to all of you, and I'm actually going to start with Devon this week, and I'm going to say, are aliens walking among us, or have they always been?
They have always been. And I've always found it fascinating that we, as humans, would be arrogant enough to think that we are the only cognizant beings with all the amazing things that are out there. And I actually believe some of these aliens are swimming around in the ocean with the whales and the dolphins, and they've known this all along. So 100% they've been there this whole time. I completely believe that. What about you, Scott?
It's funny. Sometimes I look at homeless people, and I just saw someone say this in the chat too. I'm like, are they aliens like experiencing this very deprived life? And those we think are on drugs, I'm like, are they like kind of challenged? Because I saw here in Palm Springs, there's this one person like walking an empty field, almost like he was looking for like a terminal up. I'm like, was he just standing in the field like this? Right up there. I'm like, that's a powerful drug. Or I'm like, are they aliens? So I do think there are, but I think they're doing things to experience limitation. Actually, people think, oh, they're walking among us to control us and kill us. It's like, no, they're learning from us. So I do feel like sometimes a homeless person or someone that's on drugs is experiencing that kind of different, I would say, experience of humanity. And so I believe that. I believe that.
I believe in aliens. I think they're walking among us. I think most of them are in Congress. I think they've taken over the world. I feel like they've been operating underneath the seams the entire time. I believe we're all aliens. Earth hasn't been around the whole universe. If you're an old soul, and I think all of us must be here, because if we're leading in this particular lifetime, that means we learned all these tricks in another place, in another world. And I personally believe I came over here around Atlantis time. I liked it. The girls were cute. I decided to incarnate. Like I think a lot of us come here naturally like that. But I do get this sense. I feel like we are on the cusp. I'm very feeling certain. I'm going to actually a convention this week, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, we're gonna be there on this, on summer solstice. It's really talking about Lemurian civilization, but these are all alien channelers. And they're, this is the hot topic. We all feel like we're this close from disclosure, something that's undeniable.
Right.
Undeniable. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting on a recent podcast with David Spade and Dana Carvey, they had
Yes.
Dr. Steve Greer on. And I thought that was fascinating that it's like a mainstream podcast bringing in something off topic and people are listening and going, what is this? I mean, it really feels like it's right there. And I don't think we need to be afraid of that. In fact, I feel like we need to embrace it. Yeah.
They demonize it too much too, and they make it look like something to be fearful. I mean, we say alien, but I think better word is extraterrestrials or interdimensional beings. That's what we're working with.
Yeah.
Extradimensional, interdimensionals too. So, and so I think that we need to, maybe the alien sounds so like, I think we should not be using the word alien. It sounds too like, adolescent in my word, but it's just something foreign. But yeah, we and someone had, wondered if we, tap into in readings. It's like, I've got shown a lot about the state of humanity and where things are going and the structure of things and through technology, what the plans are, who I feel to be extraterrestrial energies and information. And so that's where I get a lot of that. So they feel very interdimensional, extra-dimensional beings that I feel like I'm connecting with when I'm doing my tapping in and knowledge of what I'm learning and about the life and humanity. So, and I get shown very clearly these things like a teacher. So I constantly, tap into that energy.
Well, I want to know if any of you, Chris, Reck, have you seen an alien?
No, I mean, maybe, but never. I've been looking for Sasquatch for years. Never seen
Oh yeah,
them.
Sasquatch and heels. We're gonna do
forever.
it.
Yeah, we are gonna do it.
We're gonna do Sasquatch and heels.
Sasquatch Bay.
I do psychically feel I'm gonna meet an alien this lifetime. I psychically feel I am. I feel 100%. I knew it as a kid. Something new as a kid. It freaked me out when I would think about it. So I think we will. And that's a great way to end this wonderful show. We want to thank everyone for watching and our sponsors, CG Organics. Let's put up that QR code if we can, please. Give it a try. You will love the cream. If you don't know what to buy, try the cream. It is great. It smells good. You can eat it. It's so organic and
Mine's
fresh.
almost gone. See, there's proof.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. What have you been doing with that cream, Scott?
You never know. These palms are very low moisturized, aren't they?
Summer of love. And our other sponsor, of course, our own Devon Duerr. She's offering something free. Can we get her QR code, please? Thank you. She's going to give you a free class, I believe.
Free ebook. Is it a sign so you can understand what the signs mean? Yeah. Thank you.
I really should listen. Okay. And we think it's going to be great, but you can't go wrong with Devon either. And you can't go wrong with coming back every week. This is going to be a summer party every Monday night with the four of us. Even if we're traveling, we're going to pop up a green screen where we are, and we're going to, going to shoot with the bad internet in the hotel we're staying in. But we're going to be here to talk about this wild summer because a lot of things are going to change. And as always, as we sign off, don't put up with a shift show. Lead out loud. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.